seen every time.
Malorine
in it.
I mean, he goes straight for the setup. He does have the back of a Mar and crit. They'll get the Doom laid down onto tops and knocked back for the Flame Break as well. They'll be able to bring in the damage to take down the Invoker. Crit, he'll get caught at the side by Ramses. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Make that into a 2-for-1 with Saxa getting locked down. Falcons, they're ready to try and chase on for more. They've got eyes on Ramses. Let's see if Ramses is able to get far enough away to get a chance to blink out. He's pretty speedy.
He looks okay.
And indeed, with the blink back up and available, they cannot continue to chase him. So Ramses escapes. But Falcons making a good jump there. No hesitation from Malorine as he immediately drops that Dream Coil down on the Topsy.
Yeah, and good flank there from Amar and just gets right behind him. Yeah, like I was saying, different items coming out from this Doom that I've seen in majority of the games. This is just early onset aggression that they want to be able to match Tundra's tempo. Because it is a fast-paced draft from Tundra, which is, I would say, not really that cooldown reliant, right? It's the Night Stalker who plays a little bit around that and the nighttime. So Tundra can play fast, and I think Falcons is trying to be able to respond to that at all times with this Doom build.
Looking for Pure, but it's a bit of a bait. Ramses and Saxa, they're ready with a surprise jump straight over towards the Hoodwink. In with Whitemon as well, they'll be able to completely control and take down Crit, and maybe look for more. Snaking.
Got the numbers here.
He's going to get focused first. Now they want to turn towards the bigger kill. They want to try and find Skeeter, but Skeeter's able to jump safely away with the Primal Spring. They'll have to settle for just snaking on the back. They turn back towards him. They'll be able to take out the two supports.
Very nice, successful movements with this nighttime. Ramses is actually making this Night Stalker work so far now. First 14 minutes, he's top 2 net worth. Doesn't get the puck kill, but makes a nice aggressive move around that Knight.
Thompson.
Out of mana. There you go. Cool game so far. 7-12. Things are very even though. How many deaths do we have? I'm actually gonna check how many deaths do we have on these supports. So 8 support deaths on the side of Tundra, and 6 support deaths on the side of Falcon. So it's a lot of these supports just getting killed in these fights.
Yeah, which cores are yet to die is watching Malorine and Skeeter, the two that are yet to fall this game.
The two kind of elusive ones, right? So we'll see if Ramsey is going to be able to address that, as daytime is going to be hitting in about 30 seconds, so you can already see Tundra, their posture immediately has kind of shifted from that aggression, back up, get some farm, look to get that itemization, or wait until, you know, Dark Ascension's up. They do have 60 seconds for that one too, so when it's back up, they can look to make these plays, but very reliant on nighttime, it feels like, for Tundra in this early mid-game at least.
Saxa getting away with getting in and out of the jungle there. Falcons did start to collapse in on him.
Pretty much his staple build that I've seen from Saxa. He varied a little bit some of the days with some bracers and stuff, but he's been rushing Shard every single game to keep that farm going.
Falcons, they're ready to pounce.
Daytime
from the 4 of them.
Yeah, they want to make as many moves as possible. And Skeeter actually bought his Shard, so something interesting to point out as well. Not something you see too often on these MKs. He was about to have Echo, and he just bought Shard
Thompson
instead.
Getting some good info, though. He knows that they're around here. Yeah, I'll throw the tip out the way of Amar.
Nicely done from Thompson. This is such a good quality of life thing that I think any Invoker player has just been dying for. Being able to cast spells or invoke and use your orbs when you're inside of this Ghost Walk just adds so many more different possibilities for the Invoker. So Thompson just constantly playing in that Ghost Walk is nice. And yeah, we see fastest on the record for the Monkey King shot.
It was, yeah, by 1 second.
Yeah.
On that Shard timing this game from Skeeter.
It's interesting too because he had the gold for the Echo and he's just like, no, Shard's just way more important. It is very impactful. Either to get in, get out, extra burst, extra slow. All right, Ramses, he's got ult at the ready.
You were doing very well. I'm very proud of you.
Hard to get the jump on Falcons, though. They're set up very defensively.
Something I'm going to be checking also on Falcons is how many Force Staffs are they going to be getting, because it's the kind of answer to protect the puck versus the Night Stalker. I actually see Malorina's queued up a Force Staff even. So definitely going to look to have some answers versus that Night Stalker silence. Saxa.
How much they want to drop for him. If they want to drop anything at all, they will commit the lasso.
And yeah, we saw yesterday Miposhka playing this 5 Bat Rider, and he wanted the Solar. I think Snaking is identifying, yeah, the Blink is that important to get. You know, we had talked about the lack of initiations for Spirit's draft in that game. Snaking rushed it, so he does get at least a Blink Lasso there from it, even if it's just a support.
A few moments now where Tundra haven't really been able to find the fight that it seems that they're hungry for. Falcons staying ahead. Can they get the setup on the Malorine? They've got the Tornado. EMP as well, but the phase shift's there. He's able to dodge the EMP, jump out with a waning rift. He should be able to get away, no problem. In fact, Snake King's jumping in to get the Dream Card down. The Boundless Strike out of the two of them. They're taking out Whitemon. Pure and Thompson, they're trying to hold their ground.
Big damage on
Saxon
Skitter.
jumps in. They want to try and focus down the Monkey King, and they'll be able to do so. Pure takes him out, but now Amar comes in with the Doom straight on the
Malrine.
Ramses has made the jump onto Malrine. Amar should be able to finish off Pure, as Pure ticks down very, very low. In fact, is Pure going to survive? He's not. The final
so
tick of the
close.
Doom does kill him, but Tundra finally able to find a successful fight back against Falcons, in which they take out the
They're
three
gonna
of
get
them.
more.
And indeed, maybe Amar as well. Ramses and Thompson with the chase down. They've got the control. Sunstrike's off the mark, but Amar very little way out of this one as backup comes in from Whitemon. A pause comes out as well. All right, what's going on here? We'll see.
Something happened.
Admin.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. Whoopsie.
Oh no. Yeah.
Well, it didn't seem to have messed with them too much because they do get incredible. It's fine, BM. I understand.
It was an awkward time for the pause, but you know.
But it ends up. It's
It's
beautiful.
good that it's nice that Amar, he respects a good BM pause. He's like, it's all right.
It's
If there's
cool.
a BM pause, I appreciate it.
They're gonna get in the back. Don't worry. Probably.
That's a good one. But yeah, quite a fight there for
Beautiful.
Tundra then, cleaning them all up.
And interesting how they started it too. It was kind of like, there's no way they kill this puck on the initial go. They need Ramses to kill the puck, right? So they make this kind of weird tornado play, but it baits Falcons to overextend onto that high ground.
Oh.
And then they get fought afterwards.
Back in action, Falcons, they're looking for some revenge. They'll get Ramses. Straight out on the map, they'll take the Night Stalker down. Tundra, they've got to hide. Whitemon, are they aware that he's around? Snake King definitely notices that something's up around here.
It's daytime, so they're trying to make these plays as well too. Yeah, Whitemon.
Oh.
Gonna turn on
Oh,
Snake.
he is. But the lasso is there. Snake's going to be able to lock him down, drag him over towards Amar. So Falcons will claim a couple of kills in return. Unless Whitemon could get the deny, he's going to try for it. No, but no, Amar's got it. Another kill for Amar.
But chasing supports and stuff like that, right? Any extra bit of time that you're buying for your core seal to get that farm. I mean, Pure, top 2 net worth, Thompson as well. This game is looking pretty spicy.
That's a good one. That's a good one. We've had some slow ones so far today, but this one it's heating up big time. 11 to 17, just 19 minutes in. Big items coming out of Mar with this aggressive build phase drums, and now what? The completed Shivas, I believe, are very close to it.
Very
yeah,
close.
He's got the money. So pre-20-minute phase drums, Shivas guards. This is a pretty terrifying Doom.
Absolutely. And right now it's still daytime for a little bit, but it's about to hit night, and Ramses is very close to BKB. So a bit of an item timing that Tundra's going to be hitting soon that might want to look to get aggressive, because we see also Pure. I love that we're seeing this in not every game, but in more and more of these games for the Wind Rangers. They're not rushing the Gleipnir. They're getting the BKB after the Maelstrom to be able to fight inside these mid-game team fights. And I think this game is really culminating for a real big mid-game team fight, because it's pretty much dead even on gold and experience.
Yeah, one of the closer ones we've seen. These teams so far proving to be very evenly matched in their openings.
How many 4-staffs do we got queued? So Malrine, he's got 1. So that's 1 protection versus the Night Stalker crit. He's got a 4-staff, so secondary one to try to bail out the puck, and I think Snaking's also building one. So we'll have to try to keep track of those to see how much Malrine can actually survive versus Ramses.
Smoke time from Falcons. They're ready to go again. They've got their ults. They're ready to look for some action.
And this is cool because it's nighttime, right? So they're making the call that even into night, with these new items they've gotten, they're confident to fight.
That's a good time to go. Not indeed on paper, the threat of fighting into night is there, but it's the fact that Tundra, they may be feeling comfortable. They're like, they're not going to go for us. It's nighttime. But surprise, they are. They'll find Whitemon.
They will use a lasso. The shackle connects on too.
Yeah, maybe Tundra could do something in return. If Pure's going to try and step up with the whirlwind, but Amar just turns around, slams down the Doom on him. So Pure's got to be a bit careful how he approaches this fight. Thompson poking him from the side, trying to bring down Crit on the Hopewink, and he'll get him. Hopewink to fall. Dive forward as well as Saxa leaps in with the right clicks towards Amar, but Amar's too speedy with his phase drums. He's able to safely disengage. Same to be said for the rest of Falcons by the looks of it. They'll drag back Malrine in. Saxa trying to finish him off, but Saxa won't be able to finish the job as he gets taken down.
Pure?
Skeeter's ready to go
He's
back
so
over
low.
to Pure. I mean, Pure tried to push up as low as he was after the Doom had come to an end. Skeeter standing his ground. He builds up the Jingu, but the Tornado is there. He's not going to be able to continue to lifesteal as they take Skeeter out. Amar's getting chased down by Ramses. Gonna run away here with the final moments of the pig pole. Again, he's so fast, but they have to blink. Ramses is able to jump back in, gets the setup for Whitemon. It's a double kill for Ramses. And Falcons, they may have come looking for that fight, but it's Tundra that take it.
What a fight. Thompson just stood his ground. I think he casted like 14 different spells or something inside this.
That's a lot of damage there coming out from him.
Yeah, he actually was the absolute X factor because Pure pretty much did nothing in that fight, right? He kind of ran back in after the Doom and died, but Thompson held his ground, dispels the Jingu, gets these Tornado Cold Snaps in pretty much in perfect situation.
Check it out here.
Absolutely the X factor in that fight.
Now this start already, I guess, was a little bit risky, close to the tier 2. Nice Shackle definitely gave Tundra the strength to sort of say, hey, let's try and take this fight. And yeah, as you said, with the angle from Thompson,
and look at him
he gets to play his hand freely multiple times.
He literally got to pretty much full play the entire team fight because he just stood his ground and casted everything. Okay, maybe he didn't cast like 14 spells, but I saw like 6 or 7 at least, and then he was just getting the Alacrity right clicks. And Falcons, they went back in to look for this fight, right? Because Skitter saw the call, he saw Pure walking in low, but that respawn, you know, that fight lasted, what, 40 seconds? Whitemon's able to come back toward the end of it. Very cool stuff. 16 to 20. And that was, I believe, right before Ramses even had the BKB. I think he got it at the tail end of the fight. I believe Whitemon actually delivered it to him, if I saw that correctly.
Oh. But Skeeter. I mean, Whitemon's trying to jump out of this one. He'll get out of the Wukong's command, but the pushback from Crit connects. Sharpshooter's going to get blocked by Pure. Pure comes in with the save to make sure Whitemon doesn't get sniped. Thompson, see if he can get something in return here. Ramses also ready to jump. Got the BKB ready once again. See how aggressive they want to go with this one, Tundra. Ramses leading the way. Falcons on the retreat.
It's giving them all this information, that vision.
Who does he want to go for, Ramses? It's a bit too deep of a dive right now, getting this far onto Falcon's side of the map, so they'll hold back Tundra.
Wow, yeah. So I actually think I caught a couple extra things in that replay. I don't know if he bought the gem in that last fight during the respawn from Whitemon, but I think he delivered Ramses' BKB during the respawn. So that was kind of cool little plays that they communicated there.
They're going to keep going with this smoke.
So of nighttime for a little bit longer.
Falcons should be pretty aware that this is coming for them. They're hiding under the tier 2.
Amar has a Crimson, but it is dispellable from Tornado. So
Thompson. He's going to try and start the action off over towards Crit. Amar's ready to head in, but straight away Ramses with the silence. So Amar's not able to get the immediate Doom off. It's already been taken down to half HP. The Sharpshooter comes in, but Tundra, they're able to safely back off. Falcons, they'll jump in, get the lasso connection in on towards Thompson. Boundless as well. This time they're bursting him low. He's able to turn, get the Tornado off, but he won't survive. Thompson falls. Falcons now have the opening to chase potentially for more, but Pure and Ramses, they're fast. A little too fast for Falcons to catch up with, unless Pure sticks around a bit too long. Boundless is there with the shards. Skeeter able to close in. Crit's watching from the high ground, but the BKB's out.
He's got a TP.
We got the TP with the last moments. There is not going to be anything to stop it, so Pure will make it back safely.
I think that one they identified, okay, we need to put more priority onto Thompson. You know, just they need to get either a lasso or one of these big spells onto him. They tried to get the initial Doom. The silence came out to cover it, but now Doom is actually still available for that potential next fight, and it is about to be daytime, so.
We'll see again here that attempt, you know, Thompson feeling very, very strong, of course, down to the fact that he's able to, feels that he's able to get away with leading and starting the fight himself as the Invoker. And, trusting, obviously, as we saw in Ramses, to back him up with that AoE silence, as you say, but as it was, not enough to get him out of there. They split up, they back off, and Thompson gets left behind.
These fights are going to get, oh man, there's a lot of elements into it too, because now, what we say, that's
another lasso. I mean, the two supports, they're trying to fight back here, Saxa and Whitemon. Saxa's caught by the Dream Coil. He'll finally fall. The two of them are gone. Sharpshooter's not going to connect onto Ramses. Ramses does have the BKB as well ready if he feels pressured. He's going to continue to hide along the tree line.
He has to stay alive. This gem is all important for their team.
I mean, this is such a scary part of the map for him. As I say, he does have BKB, blink up, and in fact, yeah, he's going to make sure he continues to play the distance against them, trying to keep some sort of information available for the team. But cannot afford to reveal himself. So Falcons, they're going to get the chance to push in onto the tier 2 bottom.
And Ascension was used, and it's about to be like that long daytime for a bit here. So about 100 seconds before the next one. Pure.
Towards him. Again, his BKB is at the ready. He'll have to pop in and run, but Doom is there. He's going to go straight away for the TP. Do they have the damage to bring him down through it? They don't. He'll get back to the fountain. And the Infernal Blade damage in the Doom. It's going to be...
He's going down, it looks like.
Nah, he's living.
Nah.
He's living.
Oh, 3 HP!
Wait, it wasn't 3, it's like 30. Did it get 3?
It was 3, Owen.
No.
It was, unless I'm really blind, which is very likely. I do have these glasses.
It was low.
But
It was low, but he lives. He lives, he gets it. Still, though, a few times now, Pure's having to use these BKB charges just to get the hell out of it.
yes, they're ticking down. I think they just got these BKBs, and his is down to that 7 seconds very quickly. Okay, let me see.
Oh, where's the replay?
Let's see.
I think it was 32.
How much you want to bet?
Let's have a look.
A shower.
Did it go down a single?
Let's see.
The true...
I think it was 3.
I think it was 32. Here we go.
Okay,
Okay, this is a very slow replay.
very slow.
This is... Here we go.
It's
Some
gonna
single
be 3.
digit.
It's gonna be 3, Owen.
It's 32. Oh, it was 3! I'll give it...
Got him.
I'll get... That's some good eyesight you got there.
Thank you very much. It's
I'm gonna
not.
get
It's
mine
not.
first.
No, it's really
Woo.
not. But
Look at that.
how long for this next nighttime? So Ascension's back up. 20 seconds. Nullifier's queued up for Ramses.
Okay. They want to go regardless. They don't want to wait for that next item. They want to try and fight. The problem
10
is Falcons
seconds.
are coming straight for them. Snaking.
10 seconds on Ascension.
Can he get that lasso? He's been doing good so far with the lasso initiation, snaking. He's not afraid to just jump in and use it to start off the action. Knows that doesn't really matter, it feels like, what target snaking gets, because they have these other big ultimates, the Dream Coil and the Doom, to save for the cause.
Look what Thompson's doing. He dragged both mid creep waves with his Forge Spirits.
Yeah. He's got Whitemon and Ramses here, and he's going to find himself a freebie. Crit's gone, and they're in fact going to look to take down the Tormentor, take that away from Falcons.
That was cool. They had it seems like they had an exact read of that movement, because Thompson sent Forge Spirits, dragged the mid wave, and then they completely avoid the fight to look for that right side to wait for their Ascension to come back up too. Very good understanding. And Thompson top net worth with Pure. Very cool.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Roshan
attack.
time?
Should be able to, yeah, should be able to get this one.
I think so, right? I don't think Falcons are in any sort of position to get over here soon enough to challenge it. Now, who's taking this though? Pure or Thompson? Probably Pure, right? I feel like he's a bit more vulnerable than Thompson at this point.
Ooh, that's actually a good pick. Probably Pure.
Yeah, I think you get it to Pure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pure's going to take this one.
And we're seeing it. I was wondering when.
Thompson's already ready with the setup mid. He's TP'd over.
Oh, you might be able to find Snake.
Radiant's top tower is under
I think he might. Snay, how long is he going to stick around? Not too long. I mean, Thompson's going to try and close the gap here with a Hurricane Pike, but the Tornado is not quite on angle. Snake King's out.
And we're seeing the Lincolns are starting to get queued up, by the way. So these Dooms, these Lassos and stuff, they're going to start having some answers at the least. And I think Thompson, he does have a BKB. So triple core BKBs on the side of Tundra at the moment.
are scanning.
Well, on the side of Falcons, it's just the one. So definitely for Skeeter, it's the most important one.
They're playing aggressive, right? They've got the Deso now done on Skeeter, so his damage has stepped up. It's not going to be super easy to kill off Pure.
That's pretty interesting, actually.
Because I guess this is a bit of a later Deso purchase. I feel like sometimes you see the Desos kind of rushed on the Monkey
Super
King.
early, usually, yeah.
But a bit of a, it's still, in terms of just value, damage for value, it's one of the best times of the game.
Sure.
And of course, it is great on the Monkey King with the Boundless.
And on the Wukongs, of course.
But you got to find those kills. You pick this item up, you get it to go kill everyone. If you don't kill everyone, you're going to feel a little bit sad. Falcons just picking up, they're ready to go. It's a good grab.
That's the Aegis.
They get the opening, but he's actually able to get the BKB off. They weren't able to get their follow-up chain stun, so Pure, he's able to get
resetting.
BKB and back off and reset.
But that is a BKB, so
It is, but I think at the least, as you say, I think they were hoping to get the Aegis.
I think so too.
They didn't get it. He's able to keep it safe, and he's still got many minutes to play with it.
This game is just so tight at the moment here. Ramses is very close to this Nullifier. I mean, this Nullifier it's pretty scary. Versus like any of these saves, any of these type of protection, even versus Monkey King to just stand his ground. This Night Stalker hits hard too. He got Vindicator's Axe. So if he gets alone and left alone in some of these fights, once he gets this Nullifier, he's gonna be doing well over 200 damage per hit as well. Throwing the Ascension, it's 300 damage, so. And then Solar Flare, not something to scoff at by any means.
Yeah, and you're just not going to be able to get away from it.
No. Yeah, it is starting to feel, even though we were mentioning the buff ups for the Wind Ranger, it hasn't really been that case much at all, and it is turning into like a mini Tricore that Tundra does kind of have. Ramsey's still a little bit under-farmed, but...
They're still having good impact.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to see it, because I know, even Curtis, you could hear how he was saying it in that interview too. It's just like, this hero is...
You just don't see it.
You just don't see it that much right now, but... Ramsey's looking pretty decent so far.
Getting some towers out of this Aegis as well. Tundra able to push down the tier 2 mid. Now they'll turn towards the bottom with that tower gold as well. That is the Nullifier completed for Ramses. So if they want to try and push it to the high ground, still 2 minutes left on the Aegis. They can definitely try and force a reaction from Falcons.
Does feel like they're getting a bit of momentum here. Just have to be a bit careful going into these high grounds sometimes versus this lasso. See how much they'll respect it. And they do see Amar. He's got a fresh BKB.
Yeah. Got the shackle. It's not a bad opening. They're able to immediately burn all the mana, and he's turning up with the whirlwind, trying to dive forward. Pure, he gets held back by the boundless. Bushwhack as well to hold him back.
A lot of damage getting blocked there from the Crimson. They were trying to, I mean, either trying to kill him or trying to force the BKB from Amar, but Amar, a bit too tanky. Can't hold on to that BKB.
Radiant are scanning.
All back in the base now, Falcons, ready for that next poke from Tundra if it does come.
Long Aegis, still 90 seconds.
See how Tundra want to go about trying to go for the high ground once more with that remaining minute.
Now that I get a moment of downtime too, I get to finally talk about some other things. I've seen a lot of varying builds of stats and whatnot on the Wind Rangers. This game, you can see that he actually put stats instead of maxing power shot, because the stun is so important in this game, he actually puts more point in shackle versus the puck and stuff. Some of these games I saw 1 point shackle, 4 points power shot, and then stats completely. So
1 point shackle.
Yep, they've been doing that for quite a lot of these games. But this game, you can understand why he wants that extra disable. So little cool things. I just want to point out when we have downtime.
1 point shackle sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? You're giving up a 3 second stun.
I know. I've even seen a lot of these Marana 4s and stuff go stats instead of maxing arrows. So, not this case, of course.
I guess they're like, hey, I'm the carry. You know, stunning, that ain't my job. That's my supports. You know.
I like just being able to like see these because I've been seeing so many different types of variety of builds, and it's just cool to see how the players adapt from game to game.
I like this one from Pure. I think, yeah. Points with the shackle, sure. I can see holding back points from the power shot. You don't want to wait, you know, at this point with the right click you have, you don't want to waste time standing still, charging up a power shot. No. You want to get in, you want to survive, do the right click damage. So yeah, I'm on board with Pure's approach this game.
Yep, 5 seconds, Aegis going to get reclaimed. The first Lincolns has been picked up. I imagine we're going to see many more as this game progresses, especially on the side of Tundra. Still just a 2K lead, I think, still very neck and neck. But Falcons being trapped in their base, what feels like for about 2 minutes now.
Yeah, I guess they can wait for nighttime to pass, and now that the Aegis isn't there, they can feel a bit safer at getting out on the map, looking to start the action again themselves. You know, Mar, of course, still incredibly strong to present on the front line.
They just need to get vision down, though, is the problem. They're playing versus a Night Stalker with Gem, so this is the one ward that they can play around right now, and they're going to try to make a play around it, it does look like. Lincoln's thrown on Ramses.
It's around this Wisdom Rune timing as well, which Tundra, of course, are in the favored position to set up and control.
Radiant's courier has been
Yeah, he's checking for the ward. Whitemon sacrifices his courier for it.
I mean, do they try and force a fight around this Wisdom Rune, or do they just let this go? And like, how do you start some action here as Falcons?
See if you can get one of those big lassos on a core.
Thompson.
Got the lasso on a core.
Trump's there, snaking immediately in with the lasso. They'll get the follow. No, they won't. Thompson able to get the BKB off. I think the
Lincolns.
The Doom.
He put the Lincolns on him.
It was indeed thrown down on the Thompson. It allows him to save himself from the Doom. And now they can look for the kills themselves. So they run down the 3 of them. A buyback comes out from Crit. Ramses, he's ready to dive the high ground. Shackle shots there. Immediate response from Tundra.
Instant Lincolns. You didn't even see it.
It was absolute. It's so quick.
And look at that Pure immediately with the whole chat.
I mean, they're going to get so much from it.
I think they can look to end it. They have the whirlwind. They can hit these tier 4s.
There's 4 heroes dead, no buyback.
Oh, what a fight for
Look
Tundra.
at that. I mean,
all it takes is one.
It really does. I think that's going to be it. That Lincoln's play, it really just threw a massive spanner in the works there from Pure. I mean, without that...
Purebot Deso, they're ending. They're absolutely ending.
And they're going to be able to. First tier 4's gone, second tier 4's going down as well. The Ancient's going to be exposed. They've done it. A close game, but up until the ending moments, Tundra, with that Aegis, with the control that they got, gave no chance for Falcons to fight back. It's over. GG is called. Tundra.
Wow.
What a way to close that one up, folks.
Yeah, just patience, right? And just even though they get the initial jump onto the Invoker, man, that Lincoln's timing, it's absolutely instant. I didn't even see the blue go on.
No, I think it was there the same moment that the Doom was coming in. Yeah.
Perfect stuff. And
absolutely.
Overall, this Night Stalker ends up working pretty beautifully, I gotta say. Ramses.
Look at that. First pick this tournament, right?
Yep.
We didn't know what to expect. We heard it from Aoi on Falcon's side in the coach interview. He didn't know what to expect. And I think, if anything, that goes to show, Ramsey smiles on his face there. If you do want to just heavily target him during the draft phase, they've got backup plans. And that didn't feel like a backup plan. That felt like a pretty solid strap with the Night Stalker. He did a lot.
It felt like a solid strap, but also I do have to, I want to highlight Thompson quite a bit here. I think he played an absolutely marvelous game on this Invoker. He was able to, especially in the crucial fight when they kind of lost Pure and stuff, he stood his ground. He did so much. So, big props to pretty much everybody on Tundra, of course, but man, that was a very close game into a very explosive finish in pretty much 2 seconds.
Yeah, it really was a great game all round there from both teams, and no doubt the Falcons are going to come back hitting very hard in the game 2 of this series. I mean, I guess the question is going to be what will change? I imagine the draft approach will. We're not going to see them target Ramses as heavily as they did this time, because that evidently didn't end up working out.
No, I mean, we're going to have to see the adjustments.
Yeah, well, there we go. What a game, ladies and gentlemen, of this best of 3. As it stands, Tundra will take game 1 against Falcons.
A strong start for Tundra. We'll see indeed the adjustments Falcons will be able to make for game number 2. But let's focus on this first game, because we thought this Night Stalker overall last 24th. We heard AUI 2000 as well. He's like, we didn't expect that. Came out of nowhere, but T-Gov smashed it.
Yeah, no, it was delightful. I think this the fact that if you ignore laning phase, for like a minute 5, as soon as it went daytime, he instantly died. It's like the fact he went phase boots, he had blink dagger, like he understood that his assignment was to pressure as soon as possible. Other Night Stalker players, and why we don't really see it, let's say South American, they go for Phylactery. European Night Stalkers go for Echo Saber, right? But then Ramses, he understands the fact that, okay, I need to go for blink, I need to play aggressive, and he forced Maureen to go blink 4 stuff on puck. Like, you're going for a force. Like, the fact that you have a hero from offlane that completely destroys the build of a hero that is popping off at TI, like Nisha earlier today, owns the game on puck, right? So I think that alone just disrupted what Falcons want to do in the game, and it was, one of the... You ban him out, but then he finds the one hero. I don't think there was any other hero that would have provided this much pressure in the game. An excellent pick from Tundra, and close out the game.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Night Stalker pick would work out well, but Ramses really played it perfectly. Like, he was weaving in and out of these fights. He was playing on the outskirts. He was resetting, and it looked like a lot of this game from Tundra was kind of an outskill at some moments, because Falcons did come out swinging too. They brought the pressure to them, and they were constantly fighting, but there were so many situations that looked like it could have gone bad for Tundra, and then like 2 heroes like the Night Stalker plus Invoker salvaged the entire fight, turning it into a full man team wipe, and it was really beautiful to see. Outside of the post-minute 5 when it gets daytime and Night Stalker gets pressured, he did great in the first 5 minutes. He was top of the net worth. He was out CSing the Monkey King. I mean, this is the kind of player that you would want to put on a Night Stalker from the offlane, honestly. Someone who used to be a carry, who knows how to play versus carries, knows how to CS perfectly. And hats off to Ramses for this game.
And we gotta give credit to Thompson. Thompson and Invoker, always a 3 to watch. What he does is, I think this is going to be the fight where he stands his ground, knowing that Doom has been used, so he's just going to right-click. This is the fight where he deals 5,000 damage plus, pretty much, and I want to point out the positioning. From Night Stalker, they understand how to play out this fight perfectly. Team Falcons, they're going to come back into a fight one more time, seeing that there's an opportunity maybe to get some kills, but Monkey uses Boundless with the shard, comes back into a fight, and now Ramses is going to go ham. He's waiting until Monkey jumps in, and there's going to be a really nice tornado immediately from Thompson, knowing that without Jingu, this hero doesn't really deal that much damage. So dispelling that immediately, they're really playing like a unit, and that's what I want to see in this upper bracket.
And that's beautiful too, because right before he got silenced, he just tornadoed with his last breath. He's like, I will contribute to this fight, I will do my part, because if those Jingu stacks hadn't been purged off, the Night Stalker would have died to the Monkey King there. And even that fight itself, it happened because every player in Tundra did their part. When the Batrider blinked in to lasso, he hesitated for 2 seconds before he lassoed Mercy. All of a sudden, there's a 2-man shackle shot holding the fight, keeping it anchored there for 3 more seconds, turning it into what we saw.
Yeah, and also I think Tundra in this game respected vision so nicely. In that clip, Ramses hits the high ground ward just before the fight kind of extends. So Falcons think they have the good opportunity to turn the fight around. They lose their high ground vision as they jump in, and then after this fight, they pick up a gem, they put it onto the Night Stalker, and we don't feel it too much because we don't see Night Stalker, but Night Stalker with a gem and a BKB is one of it's like the hardest heroes to play against, because you never have wards on the map, you never have any position to play. It's like as oppressive as like playing against like a slot, right? It's it's insane to play against, and this is why Night Stalker is such a volatile hero. But again, less about Night Stalker, just the teamwork from Tundra was exceptional, and Falcons, I think they got a little bit surprised by Night Stalker, and because of that, everything kind of fell apart. Their normal strategies had to get reworked during the game, and yeah, it was a difficult one for Falcons.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful game, and of course the damage that we talked about, that comes into play at the very end, where off of one fight you win the entire game because of the solar flare and the Wind Ranger and the alacrity. Your buildings just melted.
They really did. Kudos for Ramses for playing a hero that obviously he was very comfortable with, but it was after all his heroes were already banned out that they went for that, and it's very cool to see that you can just bust that out and crush with it. I also want to highlight that during the draft, Lacoste, you were talking, you know, there were like 3-4 picks in. You're like, okay, it's
a mortar.
Basically, it's a no. You said it's like everybody buff up Wind Ranger game. Yeah. And obviously Pure was there, Wind Ranger was there, but it wasn't a Wind Ranger show at all.
No, he was on the back foot pretty much throughout the whole game. He needed to farm up. But also, his skill build was slightly different, only 2 points in power shot. He did survive with 3 HP, which made that difference, especially because he didn't have those extra points in power shot. He did have stats. So all these things, all these small things that you do, they do tend to add up in the game. But yeah, he was mostly like farming, but staying also on top of the network. And at one point, you could see like the solar crest, the drums, the solar flares, everything that you do. Teams have been theory crafting how to increase the damage on your carries, but also itemization. Again, we're going back to Ramses. He's forcing, first of all, because this is not a meta where you're buying BKB early on. This is a meta where you're buying the auras, everybody's buying some damage items, and then you have Nullifier, which is going to nullify all of that. And first of all, he's forcing you to buy 4 staffs on 2 of your support, so you're not getting all these tanky items as well. And then he nullifies all of that. Pretty good if you're asking me.
Pretty good. Can we focus a little bit about how Falcons played this? Because, you know, you go into a game against a Night Stalker, there's a couple of things you know you need to do, such as buying the 4 stuffs that you mentioned, Effie, but are there more things that you feel like they could have done or that they tried but maybe didn't work out the way they were supposed to?
Yeah, I think their first couple of Dooms did not go according to plan. Like dooming the Invoker who instantly ghost walks into another Doom that doesn't turn into a kill. I think that maybe if there's a little bit more coordination in those early game rotations, it would have worked out for them because they did have a strong early game and they did bring the tempo. It's just 1 or 2 seconds makes all of the difference because Puck was connecting to Doom in that top lane when the Invoker got doomed, but Amar went in a little bit too early. Another situation that I talked about is hesitation potentially. Batrider blinks in, doesn't lasso the Mercy for 2 seconds, thinks that they can kill Mercy off of the knockback, sees that it wasn't happening, casts the lasso 2 seconds later, and those 2 seconds make all of the difference again. So while Falcons were making the good aggressive plays, like in this fight here, look, they try to kill the Mercy off, like, not happening, let's lasso. Because of this, the 2-man shackle is set up later by Wind Ranger, which turns this into a bigger fight than it needed to be, because they were there for 2 seconds longer than they needed to be. Wind Ranger tanks the Doom here, which enables the rest of her team to pop off. We saw what Ramses and Invoker were able to do. So Falcons, while they had the right idea and they were doing the good moves, the aggressive moves, there was just a little bit of misexecution that was the difference of 1 second or 2 second shoots.
Yeah, and also the way that Tundra played, it forced Falcons to itemize kind of in a way that they didn't want to, right? You've got 4 staff on the Hoodwink, you've got 4 staff on the Park, you've got BKB as your first item on Monkey King. Like we're talking about like an aura meta, tankiness, damage, and then Falcons at 20 minutes they're presenting survivability. That's it. They're not even like tanky. It's just get out of the fight. It's not even stand your ground in the fight. It's just retreat. And yeah, I think it's very rare that you see a team, of course, have to be put in this position. So it is massive kudos for Tundra to do that. But I expect in game 2, like we're not going to see this type of game. This was such a draft heavy win for Tundra because of the X factor of Night Stalker. I think the next game should be back to an even playing field, and I think Tundra might even allow Ramses to go back to one of his heroes, so you don't have to deal with the what can he play. It's just let him play his Mars or let him play his Centaur and draft around what you expect to see rather than the unexpected.
In this Night Stalker, obviously great success. Is that a hero that you're expecting to see more, or was it just perfect for the situation?
Against Puck, I can see it more if your lane is set up for success, or at least you see a path to playing out the game. But it's a development of TI. I don't think other teams are going to jump on it, but in the back of your mind, you're now like, oh, do I have to think out Night Stalker? And it could be a reason why Tundra get an advantage in future drafts, where if you waste a ban on it, for example.
Yeah, and then it should be fairly easy to reset Lacoste, because if you are Falcons and you're going to point this, okay, you know what, we weren't prepared for the Night Stalker, we'll do better next time, we we'll be better prepared for what's coming. It should be easy to reset.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the way they prepared was banning out Ramses. And
Yeah.
It worked out. We were talking about that there isn't that, really big pick that could come out, so they kind of dug deep and went with something that is not popular, and it did work out. So if they lost this game, I think they pick Ramses hero first phase, maybe in the second phase immediately. But now, I don't know if they need to do that, but the problem is, will you have that surprise factor, as you mentioned, T?
I don't necessarily think this was a draft win. Like, I don't agree with that sentiment. I do think that the Night Stalker was a huge surprise to them, which made them have to itemize differently. But when we were looking at those fights and the skirmishes early on, they looked very even. And these fights were going on for a long time, and Falcons had a lot of gas in the tank. It wasn't that they ran into a wall where they couldn't do anything. When they just mis-executed a couple of times, which, I mean, nobody can execute perfectly, but when they just miss that Doom kill, Wind Ranger survives with 3 HP, Invoker dodges the first Doom, things like that, it does add up within a Dota game. So I think Tundra just played incredibly clean today, and they were on point. They look frightening if they can pull out like a secret hero like that and still own.
Who do you feel need to step up in game number 2 on the side of Falcons in order to push them over for game number 3?
I think that I would like to see a bit more out of Amar. Like, maybe it was just a little bit unfortunate, but I think if those early game Dooms had gone well, the game would have looked different.
Yeah, I agree. I think Amar and Malrine, they need to step up, especially with the tipping game. Maybe some old chatting as well, some smileys in the old chat, because they were on the receiving end this one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is all makes all the difference. Get into the heads of people. Although, we'll see. I think maybe a hero that is maybe also a little bit more explosive on the side of Amar. We've seen the Doom overall first pick a couple of times, and we've been questioning it because yesterday and the day before it had a abysmal win rate. We did see it win earlier today, and we said, okay, you know what, T? 33 is the one that can play it, and maybe Amar as well. But should we now remove Amar from that, or is this just first game jitters, or what is it?
I guess it's more like Liquid is such a quick team, how quickly did they beat Extreme in game 2, that Doom thrives when your other two cores leave lane with even or an advantage, because you have just what you can generate, the gold you generate. When your team struggles and you only have one other core to play with, it doesn't feel that good, because you go for a move, if the guy who's not having a good game is your stunner, then obviously you're missing the control, the escapes that we saw in the previous game. And clearly here, right, they didn't win all their lanes, therefore Doom can't, capitalize on that. Yeah, I think that's maybe it. It's just you need your team to do well. If team doesn't do well, Doom just falls off very quickly.
I want to see Mars. I mean, we've talked about this hero. They first found it out of respect for Ramses, who's been playing it really well, but Amar is one of the best Mars players in the world, if not the best, honestly, and we haven't seen Falcons bust that out yet, so maybe it is time, because this hero does counter Wind Ranger, it does counter Lena, it does counter Moran. All of these ranged carries do not enjoy playing into it.
The problem is now that I'm assuming that for game number 2 we're going to see the roles flipped, where it would be Tundra getting first pick, leaving it in. Tundra might pick it up themselves before you even give Falcons a chance to steal it.
It's become potentially the offlaner of the tournament, I think, especially where Noun's caused an upset playing the Mars. It's like it kind of rings throughout the entire kind of team. All the teams okay, we're going to think about this hero. But I'd be surprised if we saw it get through the bans.
And the question is whether they want to ban Dragonite again. I think this is the big hero for Tundra, because they play it from the off lane, they play it from the safe lane. Pure is probably one of the best Dragonite players out there right now. It's not a flashy hero by any means, but sometimes he makes this hero look flashy, especially with the item build that he's going for. There was this one game where he went Mask of Madness as well, because this guy's really good at catching up in terms of farm. If he's not having a good lane, he's going to find an item build, he's going to find the skill build to get that extra farm out of the map somehow.
Hey, it's funny, because a couple of weeks ago, it was Skeeter that we praised for being a really good Dragonite carry. And
he's up there, definitely.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, if anything, it's kind of like him and the Falcons were the ones that really brought it to life through the kind of flexibility of patches ago. Now with the facets introduction, red facet, everybody wants to play a hero that gets a free Battle Fury, right? Every core player wants to skip buying an item just to feel good. But yeah, it's hotly contested. Probably I'd expect bans to be relatively the same coming into the second game. We will find out shortly, but there it is, Mars. Get rid of it. Both teams obviously want it, so probably the highest priority.
Tundra
Well,
Esports
yeah, Falcons banning it
turn
out
to
previous
ban.
game and this game again as well. So we'll have some of the usual suspects being banned out, but we'll see if there's any changes
10
in that regard.
seconds remaining.
Because if it indeed was mostly
Turn to
gameplay
ban.
related, the loss that Falcons just suffered on the hands of Tundra, then maybe the draft doesn't need to change that much. Maybe you just need to be
10
maybe more
seconds
aware of a
remaining.
Night Stalker popping out.
Yeah, pretty much along those
The X
lines.
factor.
5
Let's see. Previous
seconds
game we had
remaining.
on the side of the team that did not pick first, so on the side of
Tundra
Tundra previous game, we had
Esports
Naga,
turn
Sand King,
to
Shadow
ban.
Demon, and Tusk banned out. We already have a change there with Mirana being first phase banned. That was Tundra's
10
first
seconds
pick
remaining.
last game. We didn't really talk about Sax's Mirana at all.
5 seconds
It's just solid.
remaining. Tundra
It's very
Esports
solid, and
turn
it
to
says a lot
ban.
if a team is banning a hero like Mirana who has not been flexed yet by the enemy team.
Yeah.
They've only played it on support. But like we saw, Ramses on the Night Stalker, the first 5 minutes went perfectly well for him. He was out CSing the Monkey King, and when that happens, it's because your position 4,
10
which was Sox and
seconds
Mirana in that
remaining.
case, is completely doing his job. He is bullying the enemy
5
carry. He's
seconds
keeping the
remaining.
other support away from you. He's disrupting pulls. He's doing what he needs to do. And
Falcons
also, just because
turn
it
to
hasn't been
pick.
flexed, it doesn't mean that you don't respect the potential flex later.
Very true. And it also means that they don't ban out a hero that we highlighted during the previous game with the Invoker and the Night Stalker. And even though I don't expect Night Stalker to be banned. All right, so we got Centaur still banned out
10
as well as Shadow
seconds
Demon
remaining.
and Tusk. What leaves that in?
It leaves
Dragon
Doom.
Knight.
It leaves Doom and Dragon Knight in the
5
pool, but
seconds
seeing the
remaining.
Centaur ban, considering that Centaur is considered to be
Tundra
a
Esports.
counter to Doom, they might just go with it again, and there it is.
I think that means that Falcons don't see an issue with their Doom. They still are confident in it, and they think that what happened last game was probably just internal gameplay errors that are easily adjustable. And if they believe in the idea, then I'm
10
inclined to believe in the
seconds
idea as
remaining.
well, because Amar is one of the players who has perfected Doom over this entire
5
year.
seconds
The logic
remaining.
could also be if you do an identical draft and then you get to that 18 pick position, you either don't pick Puck or you pick Puck and then you respect the Night Stalker that we're
Yeah.
mentioning, right? And so if they really wanted to, they can just rinse, repeat, go again.
Run it back.
Yeah.
Well, apart from the fact that they won't be up against Mirana this time around.
That's very true, because the Solar Flare from Mirana makes it so that heroes like Doom that want to run in aren't getting hit by 3 ranged heroes with Solar Flare on them, and before you can run in and Doom, you've lost half of your HP. That problem won't exist with Mirana taken out of the pool.
And we talked about how to increase damage on the heroes. Night Stalker, he increases his own damage by popping that Dark Ascension, which was a kind of a big deal, plus the Solar Flare. You don't need to be close. Suddenly you have Night Stalker with just like level 1 who has extra 100 damage from these 2 abilities.
Yeah. And the hero that we praised so much in the previous game after the spiel of Night Stalker, boom, the Invoker. And
10
I think it's
seconds
what is
remaining.
cool with certain teams. They have, they identify playstyles of key
5
aspects. And it's like they're not
seconds
afraid just to pick the hero. Like other teams here, they're going, okay, maybe the Kunk is still available, this is still available.
Falcons
But
turn
no,
to ban.
we saw how good Invoker was in the previous game. Lock it in now and protect yourself from that second phase set of bans.
Yeah, but they only have 1 ban to protect it with.
Yeah, I think it's a bit early, this Invoker. I mean, Thompson is masterclass Invoker player, but when you don't have this... So the idea last game was you had the Solar
10
Flare,
seconds
the
remaining.
Alacrity, all of that extra damage, the Mercy, who was also enabling the carry. At
5
some point, your carry is
seconds
going to be
remaining.
too strong. This time around, you've already lost a piece of that recipe that you cooked up.
I think the kind of counterpoint to that is like the control he's providing is always going to exist, right? Like the deafening blast, the tornadoes, the constant nuisance factor will exist. And sure, he won't have the solar flare, but his game will still kind of be the same. Like wherever Doom goes, he follows early on. If you can just disjoint that fight, you can run it. The reason why Winrun is living on like 3 HP is because you have time to just run away from the fight. And that's what Invoker does bring.
Yeah, and we've seen so many fights where Doom doesn't have mana. If he's the one
True.
first getting initiated on by EMP Tornado combination plus any kind of a stun/slow, he's not gonna have mana. His mana pool is
Tundra
very limited, and he
Esports
also needs
turn
to
to
pop the
ban.
Crimson Guard. He needs to use his BKB. It's all these small things that add up. It doesn't cost as much mana, but still, you also want to use your ability. So 1 EMP on Doom, and he's kind of useless.
What do we think about inspiration taken from Watson,
10
who played
seconds
Invoker on the
remaining.
carry role? Is that something Pure could do?
I think when
5
Watson played it, I
seconds
can't
remaining.
remember what their offlane pick was. Was it Monkey King?
I do not know.
No, so they last picked Monkey King to counter the enemy mid laner, and then they flexed Invoker to safe lane. So that's why it happened safe lane. It's not necessarily something you think about, but it's something you can do if you see a better mid pick.
They also had two probably the best heroes in the game to set up the Sunstrike with. They had Nyx Assassin and they had Bane. So Sleep or Nyx Assassin having that extra damage, so you could pretty much kill any hero on the map.
They could still do it.
They could, probably will not, but the option is there.
And they also had Nyx because they were playing against Enchantress.
Yeah, that's
So-
what it is.
That's what we just said.
Oh, okay, I was zoned out. But you don't wanna just pick Nyx randomly, right? For Sunstrike.
No, it-
that
Oh,
would be,
guys,
that
they
would be
also had
bad.
Nyx.
Because of Enchantress.
Because of the Enchantress.
And they also had Nyx, which was very good in that.
Again, it's against
Versus
Enchantress.
Enchantress. Very good.
It's all coming together. Oh, Enchantress gets banned, but that doesn't make any sense in logic. But they do get the Luna. Luna last game did not make it through the second phase of bans. She got banned out there. If we're talking about Mars gearing up to be potentially the offlaner of the tournament, thinking we are at the point where we can
10
consider Luna the
seconds
carry of the
remaining.
tournament, T?
Yeah, I think in drafts and tournaments, it's always
5
good to find
seconds
the
remaining.
core that doesn't destroy the kind of the structure of your draft. And Luna is that hero. Like you pick it, as long as there's a melee position 5 available, you know your lane's going to be strong. You're going to have high damage of your aura. The game's going to be good. You know, we heard in interviews yesterday the idea of like, what can a carry do after your BKB? And it's like Luna is naturally tanky because of the items you buy, the stats that you have, that she can stand her ground, and she isn't as fragile as some of the other cores when you don't have that BKB available. And just
10
having that
seconds
insurance is very
remaining.
strong. And also, of course, you do mixed damage, right clicks or magic damage
5
based on your
seconds
spells.
remaining.
It's a universally very strong hero.
Tundra Esports.
I like this Rubik that came out from Falcons because it covers for the potential Treant plus Rubik that could have come out for Tundra, because you don't want to give them a counter pick plus another hero that secures theirs. And it looks good. It's a hero that can displace on lane, so a lift back into a Scorched Earth could be a potential means to run down Luna early on.
10 seconds
Do you want to see Treant
remaining.
Protector here?
Maybe not so much versus the Rubik now, because you
5
don't want to give away your
seconds
spells, but just some kind of melee body for Luna would be necessary.
I wouldn't mind it.
Still, if Whiteman's good, like not if he's good, he is good.
He's
a
okay.
great player. Honestly, to be clear, one of my favorite position 5s. But anyway, moving on. Like if you don't give away overgrowth, the value of it in this game is very strong. But yes, you always have to respect Rubik.
They'll prioritize the Kunkka first. So far,
calls.
every time they played Luna, they've had the Tusk there, but obviously Tusk has been banned out.
It's too strong. It's one of the strongest combos, besides Treant Protector as well. This is the other one that Whitemon likes to play. This is another body. And again, how you're going to increase the damage. You have a lot of damage mitigation coming out from Kunkka, and then you have Alacrity on Luna with her aura, plus the ET with the Spirit, so magic damage.
10
Physical damage
seconds
later on
remaining.
when he maybe gets the Aghanim Scepter, when he's able to get close to the targets, it's gonna hurt a lot.
5
Yeah,
seconds
Luna's the best
remaining.
carry to pair with ET because she has hybrid damage. Like, she just fully benefits from that hero's aura.
If you miss-execute against Tundra, the amount of kiting here is insane. You got like Stomp on the ET to disengage the fight, entire toolkit of Kunkka available, everything we mentioned about Invoker Tornadoes. Like, to get to the Luna, you need to get through like a sea of defensive spells.
It is quite unusual to see Tundra save their support pick for last. But it is what it is. Is there any flex potential on the side of Tundra?
No, I feel like it's Invoker's your mid, Luna's your carry, Kunkka's your
Yeah.
offlane, and enable your supports to have a little bit more information to bring the draft to life. And of course, we already mentioned like the strength of ET with the kind of type of damage is available. It's all round once your cores have a couple items, Tundra are going to be insanely strong.
Yeah, but that also means that Falcons has a lot of information to go off of with their upcoming
Falcons
pick.
turn to
So they can counter the lanes already a little bit better. They go for the Razor.
I like this approach because for Tundra, there is a weakness in after their laning phase, they don't really bring explosive damage, right? Luna still wants to farm, ET kind of makes stacks and protects areas. You can amp up other heroes, but same thing for Kunkka. He wants to
10
amp up other
seconds
heroes
remaining.
early on.
hard lane now for this Kunkka in the off lane. I think you need Snapfire to be paired up with you so you can get out of that static link, and it's also going to be extra damage. We've seen the combination with the kisses. I think Falcons will have a read on that and just ban it out because it's too good. You need something to make this Kunkka as a hero. You know, he can creep skip, he can come back into the game with clearing some jungle camps, but the lane is going to be difficult.
Yeah, Kunkka look best with Snapfire, like you mentioned, Lacoste, or Bot Rider or Sniper. Any high damage dealing 4 to capitalize on the X Torrent is going to be what they're looking at. And Sniper gets taken out. He just does damage way too quickly. He does damage faster than Razor can steal damage, and maybe you can like burst him in that duration. Snap's still not banned out, so they could be potentially eyeballing that still.
I completely forgot Omni Knight was still in the pool. So he got removed. And this is all supports that are going to be banned, so I'm thinking indeed Snapfire, one of the heroes that's going to get removed. We've seen Saxa on only heroes that at the moment have been banned already, so we're going to see him on a new hero that he's played this event so far. Treant Protector now also removed, T.
Yeah, they're thinking that the Rubik's going to be the position 4 here, therefore they're banning out the 5s, which then means, what's the snaking hero?
I think Clockwork. They need some kind of a setup. It's banned, never mind. If they could unban the Clockwork, would be really good for them here.
His Bat Rider is still in the pool.
The Dota Plus feature.
We also have seen him play Chen and Sven, but other than that, everything else is banned out.
I think just Bat, Snap, Jakiro, anything that can do damage. Slow down the Razor a bit. What is left on 5 though? Tusk is out, Omni's out, Treant is out, Clock is out, Mercy is out.
Yeah, in regards to so far, it's like Sven that we just mentioned. That's about it.
Yeah.
Ogre. This is the Ogre game. Bloodluster Razor. Get him in. Keep the fight going.
That would make our stat before the match be.
It would make it quite nice, but
we make it top 9. Quite
It could be time. There's not much left.
I want a melee 5 body that wants to rally his team to go forward, and that's why Ogre is the hero.
Completely missed. This is one of the few times we actually see Dyer have overall last pick. Funny.
Tundra Esports.
And we got ourselves an Oracle.
Ooh.
When we were kind of at the start of this meta, I thought Oracle's going to be much more popular, besides Team Liquid always kind of playing the hero, because it's all about these barriers, it's all about buffing up the heroes. This is the hero that has a built-in the spell mechanic. So let's say you have Alacrity, you have all this stuff, ET Spirit as well, so he's not going to have that good of a time. It does feel like the spell mechanic is highly valuable. One of the reasons why Shadow Demon is pretty much banned in every single game.
It punishes Tundra's lack of finding the backline. Like their entire draft is built around kind of pushing a hero forward and protecting once they jump you. If you don't jump them, then of course Oracle's going to thrive. So I like the pick just because you're seeing what your opponent has. And for Falcons, from lane like Maureen, connect with the Razor, take fight, get a BKB on Razor, take a fight. It's a lot of go, a lot of fight, and yeah, Tundra's going to have to see through that aggression to get online in this game.
I think this Oracle pick brings a lot to the table. Like, if you look at Invoker, it's not a hero that plays for rune security as much as Pango does. It can send out Fort Spirits to deny, it'll bring in its supports maybe, but if Pango already knows where the rune is going to be and can just bring +1 support to secure it, then they will have the tempo and momentum, because this Pango is going to play heavily on the side lanes, because he has 2 strong kill potential with Razor on one lane and Rubik Doom on another. Whichever lane he chooses to rotate to with a power rune should turn into a kill, whereas Tundra are going to be playing a lot slower because they don't have that kind of rune control on their own team, and they don't have that kind of explosive damage up until Luna gets like 1 item, comes out of the jungle minute 20. So Falcons have drafted really scary tempo, and on top of that, Oracle dispels a lot of spells that Tundra are doing. Even this Willow that came out last is counterpicked by Oracle.
All right, what are we thinking, Lacoste? Falcons Elite gonna take it?
Oh, I think we're gonna go to game 3.
Okay.
I feel like Tundra is a bit too slow. Team Falcons, they do have a draft that's gonna come online super early on, and everybody on side of Tundra, like Kunkka, his presence, he needs an item. He's Blade Mail into something else, into Aura. Luna, she needs 2-3 items to be comfortable coming into a fight. Same goes for this Invoker, so I feel like it's going to be much on the slower side, and I think Falcons take it.
Well, let's find out if Tundra can surprise my panel, or if Falcons will indeed force out that 3rd game of this best-of-3 series for top 6 here at the Road to the International. We're heading over to the game, but first some words from Coach Moon Meander.
Indeed, Shiva, I am here with Moon Meander, coach of Tundra. Moon, you must have been delighted with Game 1. Are you happy with the draft for Game 2?
Yes, Thompson Invoker. Super happy.
Okay, that's all it is. I asked Howie the same question I'm going to ask you. When you guys were teammates back in 2018, Chaos Esports, he described you as an emotional man. How would you describe him?
Boring, mundane.
Boring and mundane. Interesting. Okay, you said in an interview about a month before TI, you said that what motivates your team is ego. Do you stand by that?
100%. We play better with ego and confidence. We think we're the best, and we're going to steamroll Falcons.
Okay, well, you've taken Game 1. Let's see if you can take Game 2. Let's throw it over to our casters, OD and Fog, to take it away, chaps.
Thank you very much, Ted. Yes, here we go, getting into the action of Game 2, Tundra versus Falcons. And some fantastic comments there from Moon. Good to have some banter. I mean, these are the teams, right? There's banter between the players, and now we're getting banter between the coaches.
Mundane and boring. Howie didn't even flame him. Howie was just saying, like, yeah, you can be a little bit emotional. So I love it. Oh, man, okay. So this one, and we're up to a pretty interesting way that the draft's kind of kicked off, because I think this is one of the first games where one of the first drafts where I've seen 3 cores picked up initially.
Okay.
Right? Tundra, they picked all 3 of their cores.
And, as you were saying, giving away first pick and Radiant.
Yeah, they gave away first pick Radiant, which I don't have the exact stats on it also, but I believe yesterday when I checked, it was like a 70% win rate or something like that too. So definitely something different that we're seeing coming out for them, but a very, very strong heroes. Some lack of initiation perhaps coming into their draft in some points in this game, which I've seen sometimes with these Kunkas as game progressed, but yeah, this looks like it could be pretty interesting.
Okay. Yeah, some of these heroes in particular, looking forward to see how they play out. Well, we're getting like the Elder Titan coming out on the side of Tundra, and yeah, Snaking Oracle.
Yep. No, it should be fine.
Not going to get anything out of this one. But yeah, I mean, do you sort of agree with the panel? I think they were saying, right, Oracle, maybe a hero we would have expected to see a bit more in this patch and in this tournament.
There's a lot of potential for this hero. I think the coolest thing, I like what Mira pointed out especially too, is being able to just get the information where the runes are every single time to get these bottle fill-ups, but also there's going to be a lot of spells that he can block out, these dispels as well too, but in particular just the Fate's Edict. It's really strong versus a lot of these magic damage heroes, in particular Kunkka. Kunkka throws his combo, you throw Fate's Edict, it blocks the boat, it blocks the torrent, it blocks a significant amount, so we'll see how much that pertains, because that was kind of like an old school counter in a way that people used to do, so see if the time still exists that way. Because Falcons was able to counterpick pretty heavily inside this game, so we'll see what ends up going down because of that.
Let's see if Thompson can have another crazy performance on the Invoker. Did very well in that last game.
He was honestly quite a nuisance. He's not going to have that amp up, of course, of like Solar Flare and stuff like that, where he could be that extra right-clicking beast, but we shall see what he can do.
And how should this lane be for him? Pango versus the Invoker.
Actually, recently, I feel like I've been seeing a little bit of differences. I feel like it can be a little bit more even nowadays, but it depends, because it's just the sustain war that comes out from the Quas, and then the runes are going to be in particular, so it's tough to say, really, for this one.
And how strong is this top lane? So ET backing up the Luna here in the safe lane as a support duo. Are these two getting chances to get aggressive on the Doom?
You can at times, but I feel like we've seen a lot of these teams just be really good at being able to at least protect the Doom. Even if Doom's not winning so much, the lane actually does look pretty good in most situations, so should be able to.
See there, win after win from Thompson on his Invoker so far.
I mean, Moon said it, right? We got the Invoker, so they're very, very happy.
Indeed, if that, you've got to imagine at a point, if that win rate continues to go that way, and if Thompson's able to make the win happen here, teams might have to start considering an early ban on it against Tundra.
Let's be honest, Thompson won TI because of Invoker in like his first one especially, so it is definitely going to be something that teams have to always think about. And we'll see how that top lane. I'm curious about how that one executes, because this one does feel like it's a lot of like trade back and forth. But then once the ET and the Luna get level 3, I think that's when they're able to kind of dominate this lane.
But
then
you get so much damage, or
it's 2 points in Beam, 2 points in the Spirit, and you're able to just kind of run these heroes down. So I think that's when it's going to become the most difficult for Falcons up here. But first 2 levels or so, they should be able to do okay.
I mean, because like, how difficult is it going to be for Amar to be left on his own against these two?
Very difficult. I think Crit kind of
stay here.
You have to stay here. Yeah, because you can at least do the, you lift them, throw them back, and kind of reset to be able to get positioning. So mid's kind of the one that I'm just just like last game, where I think most people are just staring at this mid matchup because these two just love to push the limits of their heroes. Who ends up getting that Lotus? I didn't see actually. Okay, so Rubik was able to get that one. Okay, what is that one?
Beautiful art there.
Oh, so I guess this is reminiscent of Topson's first TI win also, where he's just dropping stickers on people's faces on the on the lane. Not very funny, but mid lane so far pretty much dead even.
It's really close.
Yep. So that kind of skill matchup. Topson, of course, these denies. We'll have to talk about the
top lane
is top. They actually get.
Wow, so
Aggressive on
close
Pure.
to bringing Pure down, but Whitemon coming in with a lovely stomp to hold back Amar and Crit.
That was a bit surprising there. They hit the level 3 first on the Doom, so they had that big explosive damage initially, it looked like. Actually, didn't even put a point in yet, so maybe it wasn't just because of that. It was just an opportune hit that they found on Pure.
They could dive in for Whitemon.
He's still not 3.
I think he's in a lot of trouble. Yeah, Whitemon underestimating the potential there from Amar and Crit to just dive in and go for the kill. They get first blood for Amar.
Very nicely played, exactly when they need to. These first 2 levels are crucial for them to apply that pressure, and they do so. Very nicely done from the 2 of them here. And Amar, of course, getting that kill, so he's going to have boots and a chainmail coming out here too, which could even change the outcome of that lane even more. So very nice from Falcons there.
I mean, we saw last game as well, despite the loss, Amar and his Doom had a pretty fantastic time in the early parts and got this incredible amount of farm. Do you imagine he's going to go for a similar build this game, go for that phase drum Shivas once more?
That's actually a good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because it was a very different approach last time. I think so, just because we've seen Tundra play very fast. He'll probably look for something fast-paced. Maybe not the drum, but we'll see. How's his bottom lane overall doing?
Saxon and Snaking trying to go for one another, but neither quite able to finish off the job.
So one other thing that was actually pretty crucial for me in that last game is how well Ramses did in that lane, because he was in Night Stalker with nighttime and stuff, but it was a Monkey King lane, which can sometimes dominate some of these melee heroes. This time also, he's not doing that bad. You know, it's a Kunkka versus a Razor lane, and he's 24-2, so all things considered, this lane's doing pretty decent on the side of Tundra, and I think that's why they picked this Willow, because it's got these, you know, blocks to not let the static link build up, so kind of cool. I expected that lane to go much worse for Ramses.
I mean, mid continues to be one of the...
Dead even.
Yeah, the kind of the most even outcomes that we've seen 5 minutes into a match here. Incredibly close between Mallory and Topson.
But Topson does get, I mean, it's not like it matters as much because it's an Invoker. He gets the 6 first, it's just a different